Kopano Gumbi is our business reporter. She's at Megawatt Park, and she's been following developments there for us. So it's only the 27th day of the year. What does this tell us? Should we brace ourselves for more outages, Kopano?
Well, Duduzile, it definitely looks like it's going to be a year of outages if we go by the information that Eskom have provided us now. 51 days of load shedding we have experienced since April 2021 up to the 24th of January, which is significant. It is the second highest number of days that we've had load shedding in South Africa since the advent of load shedding. So there are some significant challenges at the power utility. But joining me now is Mr. Phillip Dukashe. He's the executive of generation at the utility, and he has more information on this matter. The country really does want to know, Mr. Dukashe. 51 days is not the highest it's been, but when we look at the number of hours that we've been load shed, it's breaking records.
That is true. The last financial year has been a major challenge for us, with high unavailability, and we are continuing to work on that. I can say that load shedding will always remain a risk. It is a risk this year with an outage, two outages in fact, at Gubek Power Station. However, I can assure you that we are doing all we can within generation to implement all the maintenance plans that we have to make sure that we limit load shedding.
Let's talk about that a little bit more. You do say there are two significant units that have gone down for maintenance, which is around 1,900 or so megawatts that's being taken off the grid. What are we doing to mitigate against those losses? Because we can't use as much of our emergency reserves as we would like. As you mentioned, it's too expensive and it is too intensive on the amount of diesel that is required to keep them going.
So what has been taken off is Gubek, one unit at Gubek. It's out for maintenance. But overall, within generation, in fact, as we speak, we've got about 7,000 megawatts of megawatts on planned maintenance. Now, that is critical because if we do not conduct that maintenance, then it means we're going to have more and more failures. So despite the constraint in the system, we have to make sure that we do that maintenance. What we do then with the remaining plant, it's our focus to make sure that it is available, that it is running, that we are vigilant, we prevent mistakes, and we make sure that the plant is running as high as it can. So those are the things that we are doing to manage capacity within Eskom.
But there's no new capacity that we have immediately available, correct? So the reality is, despite keeping the maintenance plan on track, the likelihood of us having significant, like stage 2, stage 3, and possibly stage 4 load shedding is really high.
Yes, the risk of load shedding is always there. And again, I need to emphasize, we will continue with maintenance. The country does need additional capacity. We've said between 4,000 and 6,000 megawatts, because that will create space for us to do maintenance. So yes, the risk is high, and it will remain high. But as I said earlier, we do all we can on our side to make sure that we maintain the plant and we run it so that it generates the electricity needed for the country.
The management team have been talking about this additional capacity of 4,000 megawatts for a while now, a couple of months. Where do you see it genuinely coming from? Are there any available methodologies of generating electricity that could provide us this extra capacity in the next 12 months?
Well, I must confess I'm not very competent to answer that question, but I think the Department of Minerals and Energy, they are working on that. The President did announce ability now for South Africa to generate electricity up to 100 megawatts. So that is there, and we're hoping that that will come with speed, and it will hopefully reduce the amount of need in the country. There are other initiatives from DMRE. I know that there is a bid window again for additional capacity, renewables into the country. So those again will be coming now. The pace at which renewables can be deployed is much faster than other forms of energy like coal and so on. So those will be coming faster. But I do not think that this year is going to be an easy year. despite all of those, because it will take a little bit of time until they are deployed.
And I recall one of the bigger challenges with renewables is that some of them, where the electricity can be generated, is quite far from how it can connect on the grid. And so there were some challenges with saying, okay, let's have solar-powered units out in the Northern Cape, but they don't connect to the grid just yet. What is it that we can do to get them closer to the grid at an equal or reduced cost? Because I understand that if you get them closer to where the grid is, it is more costly to generate that kind of electricity.
So I think in South Africa we're blessed with the sun. Yes, certain areas such as the Northern Cape, you can generate more electricity out of the area. But I think almost anywhere within South Africa you can, but perhaps with not so much availability as those areas. So at this stage we encourage everybody that can build and add to do it in areas where it's closer to the current grid. The speed of connection will be faster, and we can get the benefit of those megawatts. Yes, in those other areas, like in the Northern Cape, the grid will eventually expand, and we will be able to get power from those areas. But that will not happen immediately.
Mr. Dukashe, thank you so much for your time. That's Phillip Dukashe, the Executive of Generation here at Eskom. As you heard, there are myriad challenges that they are facing. They're trying to tackle them one at a time. The risk of load shedding remains significantly high, especially as the planned maintenance continues. 7,000 megawatts of power there that need to be taken off the grid as a result of the maintenance that needs to be done. And so we await to see when next we might see load shedding. But for now, back to you, Dudu.
Kopano Gumbi, thank you very much. Hoping for some light at the end of this tunnel.